Hello everyone. So I didn't say a good bit for a while, but I didn't want to make a video for a while about it until I knew all the facts, until everything was out in the open. And just to say, it has taken the nation by shock, and it's really just made everybody step back and just think for a second. And it's beyond shocking. It truly is beyond shocking. In broad daylight, a young woman's life was taken, had a whole life ahead of her. And that's along with a primary school teacher. Like, it's beyond shocking. Like, words cannot be comprehended. In an open area in broad daylight, somebody would do that to anybody. It's beyond comprehensible. It truly is. And hopefully the gods have the person who done it. Please God to have the person. He will face justice for his actions. But yeah, may she rest in peace. May Ashling rest in peace. Just tragic. Like, it's made everybody think. And yeah, we have to have serious discussions about a lot of things, particularly around because domestic violence is up a huge amount. Violence against women, even in households, things like that. It's up a lot. We need to have a discussion where we can't just say it's not a thing and just pretend that everything's normal. And the next thing I say is that years ago we used to be before this as a safe enough country, even though there's violence in Northern Ireland. But really, are we? Like, if you look at the crimes that have been committed the last few years against people, it shows the opposite of that. And I think there's a lot of things we have to discuss. The way I see it, the law has to be extremely hard on people who commit violence. In this country, they get out after a few years. They get reduced sentences. Basically they get a pat on the head, and that's all that's given to them. They get a slap in the hand. That's what they get. But yeah, take for example this a TD sitting in Dáil Éireann, the mum, Pauline Tully. She went through domestic violence, and her husband stabbed her 13 times, and he's getting out next month. He only got 5 years for it. Now tell me, what kind of justice system is this? Tell me what kind of country would allow somebody that is obviously a very violent individual who stabbed somebody 13 times, nearly killing the boy, nearly killing, and she's a TD now at the moment, and he's getting out. I would think he should spend the rest of his life in prison for that. And again, it's the same with everything else. Like, there's other incidents that happened. There was an incident in Dublin where two girls were attacked, and one of them had injuries to her eye, and basically got out on a €200 bail or something like that. Like, again, serious questions need to be asked on society, and everyone in society has to be asked on society, because we can't just sit here and let people off who are violent individuals who could hurt anybody at any stage, just for the sake of it, just because they feel like it. These people are dangerous to society, and the law should see it in the same way as we see it, because I deem somebody who violently attacks anybody as a danger to anybody in society, as a danger to any child, or into that. They're a danger to society. We have to put it straight, and they shouldn't be getting out after 5 months, 2 months, 3 months, after 5 years, even if it's a very, very, very serious thing, even an assault, only assault. But again, this is the next thing we need to say, particularly when it comes to domestic violence, things like that. There has to truly be a zero tolerance for people who particularly abuse women and things like that. We need to be very extreme in the law. We need to basically throw the book at them, in other words, because it's that serious at the moment, to the amount of domestic violence going on. We truly need something to be done. And it's, again, people say, it's not that serious. It is very, very serious stuff that's happening at the moment across every county in the Republic of Ireland. And we do need action. We need something to be done. Because too many people are suffering at home, and that's the thing. Too many people are suffering without saying things. And you would ask questions on society alone, our values and other things. It asks a lot of questions. It does ask a lot of questions. But yeah, the next thing I talk about is the fear. Like, again, there's a lot of fear after the murder. I know a father was talking to me just the day afterward, and he said about his younger daughter's in third class in primary school down here, and she walks, he gives her the freedom, basically, because when you're young, you want to act like you're a big person and things like that. You'll act like you're a bit older than you are, let's put it that way. And that's fair. I think we all at one stage when we were younger wanted to act like we were older or whatever. And she walks to school, and it's only about 2 minute walk, and he's afraid if something could happen to her, and that's the same with all the parents. They're terrified of what happened to the children, because if somebody's willing to do that to anybody in broad daylight, then they're willing to do it to any child or anything. They're not afraid of any kind of law. This is the thing. If somebody's willing to do it in broad daylight, they're not afraid of any law. They're not afraid of any authority. That's the thing. They're not afraid of anybody if they're willing to do it in broad daylight in front of people. That's the start and end of it. That they're not afraid. The people who do this are not afraid of laws, not afraid of anything, and they should be afraid of laws. Because the law is there for a reason, to protect people. But the law in this country is just a banana law. It works sometimes it doesn't. Other times they just not bother to enforce the law. Which one do we want to go by? Which are we a country of? Are we a country of laws? Are we a country of values? Are we a country that just says, look it, that's life. We can't do anything about it. It's because it seems like we're going with the flow, that we're just anything goes, and then no law can be prosecuted really. Because again, you see these things happen, and there's nothing really been done about it. Let's be fair. And I do worry about it. I do worry about particularly young people growing up. Again, as I know a few young ladies that are afraid at the moment too. They're afraid to go. They're afraid to go anywhere. To be totally honest, they're afraid to go anywhere after this killing. That caused a lot of fear. Because again, the thing, then they're thinking the same as me. If somebody's willing to do that in broad daylight, they're not afraid of any person interfering or anything. They're just not afraid. They don't care for anybody else. They don't care for anybody. And that's the thing. They just don't care for anybody. They don't care who gets in their way. And that's the most fearful part. They don't care for anybody. They don't care for any laws, and they don't care about being caught. And this is the thing. This is the frightening things that we have to think of. But again, and I say this straight, the only way we can do it, and how to really crack down on this, is how the punishments, how the penalties in prison, how the time in prison for people who do any kind of violence whatsoever, even against a man or whatever. We need to be extremely tough on these people. We can't have them roaming around society, endangering people. We need to be extremely tough on laws, as it should be. If you attack somebody and if you hurt them and you hospitalise them, that's obviously definitely a prison sentence. Let's be fair, and it's a lengthy one at that. Not just a slap in the wrist and just say, we'll let you home, you'll be fine, we'll put you in house arrest or something like that. We need to be a lot more serious. We need to take things a lot more serious in this country. And we can't allow this to carry on to happen anymore. Where we just say, judges and X, Y, and Z. We need to kick up a fuss if justice is not done. Because justice is blind. Justice is blind at the end of the day. But it's tragic, and we need to look at obviously there's other aspects too, as I mentioned in the live stream. There's other aspects to crime. We have to look at, even though it's not everybody, again, it's not everybody that's coming from other countries causing hassle or anything like that. There's a few, obviously. There's a few. And I know in this case too, when we talk about, but we're not getting into detail. We should be more worried about trying to prevent another incident like this happening in this country. But we should look at every aspect. That's what I'm trying to say. We should look at every aspect and look at people's criminal record when they do come in the country. That's the important thing, that we know who they are. We know who they are and we know what they're doing, and X, Y, and Z. We need to know that. It's just, again, it's for safety reasons. It's better to know than not to know. But again, there's a very small minority that are causing harm and causing violence against people who come from other countries. And obviously they need to be deported if they are causing violence. Violence, and if you've been in the country and you're on a visa or whatever this case may be, you obviously should be deported. That's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. If you cause violence, if you cause trouble in any country that you're coming over to live in or whatever, to work in, you shouldn't truly not be here if you're going to cause hassle. That's as simple as that. Like, again, there's hard working people that come from other countries, and they're the people we should have. Hard working people who want to work and who don't cause any trouble. They're the people we need. Not the people who are here to cause trouble and who to take advantage and things like that. But again, it's not all the cases. Not all the cases. I'm just taking that as an example. And obviously we need to look at every other aspect too, because there's a lot of aspects behind it too. But yeah, let me know to take, again, it's a tragedy, and I really do feel bad for the family. And for the friends, and for class. Again, she was a first class teacher. Like, I can't imagine how they're able to understand what's happening. And how even the whole wider community of Offaly, it's hard. It'd be very very difficult for them to comprehend that something happened, like that in Tullamore. It's going to be with a lot of people for a long, long time, and I think it will go out of the minds of a lot of people for a long, long time. It won't go out of my mind for a long, long time. Because it's shocking. It is truly shocking. As I said, if somebody's willing to do that in broad daylight, and not feel any consequences, then these people have no. These people who cause these crimes have no fear for anybody, and no fear for any kind of law. They don't care about anybody who gets in their way. That's the saddest part of this. That the law, people don't fear the law, even because the law is the law. But again, as I always say to people, the one thing I would say, and I would hope because that's the true justice when we all die, whenever we die, that should be the true judgment day for whoever causes trouble. That's the true judgment day, for them. Whatever about any other law in this country or any other country, that's the judgment day when they die. And I say that to people, who cause trouble, things that think about after you die, what happens, your judgment. That's all I say. But anyway, I'm sorry if I went on and on. It has annoyed me a lot, this motor, and it's upset me a lot. But particularly when she had her whole life ahead of her. She had a whole life ahead of her, and somebody to take it so selfish. It's taken her life so selfishly. It's beyond comprehension. It's truly beyond comprehension. I didn't even know that, like, it's the words. You can't find the words. You truly can't find the words in any meaningful way. But yeah, please God, and hopefully God, they have the right person, and justice will be done. And please God, the justice will be done. And this fellow will spend the rest of his life in prison, and will suffer every day for it. Thank you.